Flo's here as well with the French press. Of course, they're full of this accident today, aren't they, Flo?
That's right. This is really the story that's dominating the French press. Let's start, first of all, with local papers situated near where the crash took place. This is La Provence. It's a paper that's based in Marseille. You can see here these two words, la tragédie, the tragedy, with this photo of the crash scene, debris everywhere. Le Dauphiné Libéré, another local paper, a similar photo, similar word as well, tragédie in the Alps. Now, Le Dauphiné Libéré describes this very remote area where the crash took place. It's called Le Massif des Trois Évêchés, 2,000 meters in altitude. It's a very isolated area, so it's hard to reach. This, of course, complicates the work of, well, rescuers, first of all, investigators now, Libération as well. Let's take a look at their front page. They have this chilling quote from an MP who flew over the crash site. This quote has been getting quite a lot of attention. You can see here, rien que des débris et des corps. There was nothing left but debris and bodies.
Yeah, really sad, isn't it? I mean, European leaders, François Hollande, Angela Merkel, Mariano Rajoy, they're all heading to that crash site today to pay tribute to the victims, aren't they?
That's right, 150 victims, lots of emotion over the fact that there were no survivors. Let's take a look at the front page here. 20 minutes, un juste ciel. So 20 minutes says the skies are unjust. Les Échos points out that this is the deadliest plane crash here in France since the Concorde crashed in 2000. You can see here they're talking about a mardi noir, so a black Tuesday in French skies. Now, this was a Germanwings flight that was flying between Spain and Germany. An Airbus plane, so a European plane, crashed here in France. It's a very European story. So you can see La Croix, the Christian paper here, talking about how Europe as a whole is mourning the victims of this crash.
And this terrible story as well about these 16 German students returning from a school trip to Spain caught up in this.
That's right. This has really become kind of a focal point for the mourning. And Le Parisien, several other papers as well, sent reporters to the small German town Haltern, where these students are from, and they met with families and friends of the victims who are mourning their loss. You can see this really emotional quote here. It's so unfair what happened to them.
Now, after the initial shock, of course, lots of papers also trying to understand exactly why the plane came down. What are the papers saying about that, Flo?
Well, let's take a look, first of all, at the front page of Le Parisien, which sums up quite an opinion in the press today. They're talking about the mystery of this crash in the Alps. The plane that crashed was 25 years old. It had gotten its last checkup the day before the crash, as well as a major maintenance check in the summer of 2013. The pilot had 10 years of experience. The weather conditions were good. So what happened? Well, Le Figaro as well on their front page, they're talking about this. They talk about all these questions that surround the crash of the A320.
And Le Figaro, they're looking at various scenarios, aren't they?
That's right. Now, the only thing we really know for now is that the plane plunged for 8 minutes. That's a very long time before it crashed into the mountain. Le Figaro points out that for now, investigators are leaning towards the scenario of an accident, but an accident can mean lots of things. Perhaps there was a mechanical failure, a problem with all the technical things on board, or perhaps there was a sudden loss in cabin pressure that could explain why the crew never issued a distress signal. This is another detail that's getting a lot of attention in the press today. Libération interviews a man named Gérard Arnoux. He's a former pilot. He's also the president of France's Air Safety Watchdog Committee. Now, he says an interesting thing. He says there's been an increase in incidences where pilots lose control of their plane in midair. You can see that quote there in this article in Libération. Why is this happening? Well, he says that he actually blames the training that pilots receive. He says that it's ill-adapted. And he also points out that the automatic engineering of planes, the fact that they're on autopilot so much, he says this is also problematic because it's not really designed for human operators, human pilots.
Okay, and finally, Flo's pulled out an incredible story, really, getting an awful lot of attention in the press. This is of a football team. They were supposed to be on the plane, weren't they?
That's right. If there's one positive story that's come out today, it's this one. You can read about it in lots of papers. This is the Huffington Post talking about it. They definitely have a guardian angel watching over them. This is a football team from Sweden, Dunkirk FF, third division football team. So they were scheduled to take that flight, and they actually changed their ticket at the very last minute because the layover in Dusseldorf was too long for them, and this last-minute change definitely saved their lives. They can thank their lucky stars for that last-minute change.
Yeah, guardian angels indeed. Flo, thank you very much. Thank you to Flo for the papers and to Kate from the business desk as well.